Hopefully you've watched the first video in this series of Tendinitis the Speedrun, of fighting every single boss in Genshin Impact with only one twink. Because if you have, you might justifiably be concerned about the state of my well-being. But don't worry, this episode is only gonna make that worse. Quick refresher on the rules if you're new here, or you're like me and have the short-term memory of a goldfish. 1. Lyney must fight each boss solo. No organized pyromania. 2. No buffs or healing from food or other characters being in the party. And 3. No starting a battle with stacks or healing over time effect. That's pretty much it. Guys, this was never meant to be a complicated challenge as far as the rules are concerned. It was only meant to challenge my resolve and patience. I'm allowed to change artifacts and weapons as needed, but aside from the rare occasion where Lyney is simply incapable of fighting a boss on his own, then it really do just be the twink versus the world. I even did some more testing with the geopillars recently, just for you, my loyal audience. And even with more modern techniques, I can't get a pillar down with Lyney and only Lyney. And again, we're not trying to create the Doki Doki Literature Club toxic relationship experience here. We already know I enjoy pain, that's why I'm getting a PhD. The P in PhD stands for pain. But even I have limits. The run started off pretty averagely. I went directly from fighting the Sunni from the last episode to fighting the Thunder manifestation. This wasn't too bad since it's not the worst type matchup and its attacks are fairly easy to dodge. Once you learn how to dodge them. Bada bing bada boom, first boss of Inazuma done. Yay. The Magu Kenki was a quick one and done. Well, 13 and done, but we don't smut the small stuff here, no. And the Pyro Cube was just an exercise in patience. It didn't take that many attempts, but it's one of the rare edge cases where Lyney is not capable of fighting alone. And until someone can prove to me that Lyney is capable of dropping the Rock Candy's ward through some gimmick or other, I will happily exist in this world of fighting it in 2 deaths. Regardless, once we had a water gun equipped, we learned the attack pattern and finished it off relatively quickly. Now, the more astute of you may have noticed a slight problem with my team composition as it pertains to the rules of this challenge. A problem present for every fight, not including weekly bosses, that I was simply too stupid to notice. Don't worry, I won't notice it until not long. So you can expect to see how that all went down when that video drops. Is this an attempt to keep you hooked for the next video, or is this an attempt to save my GPU from overheating by not sticking another 40 to 60 gigabyte file into my Premiere timeline?
The world may never know.
The next boss, so you lost your chronicled 50-50 to Kokomi and now you're Kokoping, ended up being easy enough. As usual, it was nice to have a type matchup that was somewhat advantageous, so it was an easy dub in only one attempt. And that was the last of the easy bosses. From here on out, it's not a question of HP inflation or harder to dodge attacks, but a new, unique challenge I had to learn how to combat. It was the beginning of my training arc, my rise to greatness in the ways of Genshin Impact gameplay. The Perpetual Mechanical Array, or as I like to call it, pain me is afflicted with. I was informed pretty early on that it's possible to do this boss with 1 HP. This isn't an Ambermain situation though, where Ambermains are flexing their absurd builds, taking down bosses like it's nothing. This is actually a boss that's reasonable for a casual to learn how to run hitless, which I could see after a few tries. Once I got used to the PMA and its absurd detection radius. Sorry, I forgot to change his What do you mean you could see me? And learned how to dodge its attacks, it went down more or less without a hitch in around 10 attempts. Getting into the dinos, we were getting peak assistance from the new regular of the channel, Sleepy Pandas, or Panda for short. If you've seen the video that came out shortly before this one, you know Panda and know his suffering well. I'm still so sorry, man. Oh hey, if you're enjoying the vid so far or want to see me suffer in real time, why not join us on stream at twitch.tv/skitscout or throw a comment, like, and subscribe? Panda would give me tips as I worked my way through the different bosses, usually via videos of Ambermain soloing the bosses I was struggling against. It usually took them like 2 minutes too. So helpful, yet so infuriating. One of the dino nuggies jumps onto to the wall, which makes dodging everything easier, so I tried to focus on doing damage to it there, especially since I could damage the other one a lot quicker given the type matchup. I really wanted to avoid the phase triggered when one of them dies alone and decides to kill you for your crimes. This wasn't because it's harder, this was just pure laziness. Guys, there's a lot of bosses in this game, and I didn't want to spend any more time learning attack patterns than I already had to. Luckily, I did a great job at juggling their health, and I was able to get this one done without triggering too much extra suffering. Next was the Golden Wolflord. Now, I know that this little puppy dog isn't very well liked, especially during his stint in the Abyss. And you know, I didn't really understand why back in the day. I didn't need to farm him for anything, he doesn't really have achievements tied to him, and I couldn't get that far in the Abyss at the time. Oh, how quickly I learned the pain. The first phase doesn't pose any problems, just shoot him in the face a few times. By the way, if you were counting, they don't count as headshots. Not like I'm keeping track. It's the second phase where things get spicy. Our good friend Fido here summons what I dubbed masks, and I knew from the get-go these were going to be the problem. I ran a couple of tests with Frina and Shiori on the team to see if I was going to need Geo or if I'd be able to break them with Lyney. To my surprise, Lyney can break through their toughness. But to my horror, it takes more shots than I care to count. Lyney is known for being a fast talker and flirt, not a fast shooter and bringing the hurt. And remember, I don't have to do this just once. Oh no, I get to do it 3 times, all while dodging projectiles from the other masks I haven't broken, airstrikes and earthquakes from Big Boy, and a laser beam that Panda and I determined would be easiest just to iframe through. This was the beginning of my training in the ways of unusual combat. Never before had I used iframes deliberately to dodge an attack. I had to confront my fear and run into attacks, not away from them. I did not like it, but I got fairly good at it pretty quickly. This was also the boss fight that I started taking full advantage of level 1 shots versus level 2 shots. I don't know why I didn't realize I could do this sooner, since I read the entire freaking description for each of Lyney's abilities, but once I did, it was a lot quicker to take things down. This fight was by far the most satisfying to complete. Learning how to dodge into attacks was nerve-wracking but satisfying. Terrifying but exhilarating. Little did I know, but this was a turning point in my approach for the rest of the challenge. And this experience would be vital. The culmination of these new strats was the Raiden fight. If you were there for stream, you'd know there were 2 bosses that I absolutely dreaded doing, both of which took me over 100 tests to complete and at least 2 dedicated streams. So if you didn't think Raiden would be up here in Skit's most hated, then you might need to get to know me better. Not only that, but she nearly doubled the death counter at the time. She was what I thought the final boss of the challenge would be. Until I remembered that stupid dragon in Notlon, who I was so terrified of, I saved him for dead last even though the chess set came out after him. Raiden is notorious for being a challenging boss to newer players, even in the story. She's not as bad the more you level and build your characters, but it's still honestly not a fun time.
Who would play Scrabble at 5 a.m.? That just seems like a ridiculous exercise in futility. So, what? No! No! Wait, was that not the right one? Oh, I'm so stupid. It's fine. Maybe it is not fine. We're just... Yep, this is officially a 1 HP challenge, effectively. We're in the second phase. Like, this is just going better than I thought it would. Wow, we're up to 282. Woo, it's a palindrome, but not really an impressive one. I hate this phase! I hate this phase! I'm so ticked. I hate this one. No. Bro! Bro! What am I supposed to do about that? Can I go spend time with A? A is so much more fun. She doesn't do this to me. We got it! Let's go! Let's go! The first time! The first time we've got it, and we're totally about to die again. Chat, I don't think we make it to the crab today. Where is it?
Final calamity.
I missed. I missed. We're done. We're done. We're cooked. We're cooked. We're cooked. What is that nonsense? Oh.
Quick.
How? Quick. Yep. I'm so ticked. You're so inconsistent. Well, we have our burst. Well, we don't have our burst. Win condition 1, don't die. Trouble dodging. And I ran right into it. Okay. What just happened? Wait, I have to deal with that lightning permanently now? I have to deal with that lightning permanently? To the man that Panda sent me a video of a guy that soloed Raiden with a 1 HP Lyney. Not only was he dodging all of Raiden's attacks by rolling into them, he was letting Lyney's animations play out all the way. Every single time, too. I'm not dodging into the attack. I have the will to live.
In my defense, I was fighting Raiden at max level, but holy, the disrespect! Throughout the course of this boss, I learned some fun things. Namely, the only circumstance under which Lyney is able to break the Electro Flower thing in time to avoid the one-shot, is if he has his Numa Blade hit it in either the first or second shot. I mean, it didn't take me that many attempts, only 141 deaths in like a stream and a half, but it's still demoralizing to know that, you feel? I don't even want to know how many attempts it took me just to get through the first phase for the first time. We got Raiden when our death counter hit 390, vastly destroying my chatter's ardent belief that I may not be trash at this game.
Fihiacorn. There has not been 0 deaths. There will not be 0 deaths more. I'm guessing within 300 is what it'll take.
I was trying to tell them the entire time that they were aggressively overestimating my skills, but they were optimistic. Yet I am nothing if not a woman of my word, and this shows in my final death count for that fight. All that remained was Signora, and yes, she really was the last one. She was by far the worst fight for me throughout the entire challenge, and I can say that with confidence now because I finished the boss rush like a week ago.
Boop. Do you know how long it's gonna take me to sift through the footage from this particular fight? Not like the stream itself footage is kind of long, but this one, I get to relive the suffering, the unfortunate truth. You think I'm gonna be done with Signora once we're done here? No. I'm still gonna have to review the footage.
She may not have been the highest death count at the end, but she took by far the most of my sanity.
Okay. Ugh. We're just gonna be here for a minute. This I know. Nothing about this is enjoyable. Except for chat. That is the only enjoyable part of this.
Mostly because who the freak ever thought that Signora would be the most annoying boss to deal with?
We've got 55 attempts today. And if we get to 55 attempts, that scares me. Because that means we're approaching Raiden levels of attempt numbers. Your girl speaks French like a native language. That sucker is a... Okay, so our goals for today are learn how to dodge that. Alright. No, Lyney! I'm not happy about it, but it could be worse, I guess. See, I have 25 followers. I am logging into... Okay, that's dead. That's okay. That was good practice. We were getting there.
But I was a fool. A silly, naive fool who didn't realize the misery that one dead woman would cause me.
So, there's a wonderful thing that the French do. It's called a manif. Manifestation. Short for manifestation. Manif. Bro, calm down! Calm down! Whoa! Where'd the Lotus go? Oh my gosh. That's a death. This is totally fine. I'm not in denial, you're in denial.
Raiden still wins for physical pain, by the way, although fighting Arlecchino right after that probably didn't help. It legitimately took 2 weeks for my wrist to stop hurting. The Signora fight started out like any other fight. I went in with Prototype Crescent in a Dream, using Lyney's level 2 charge attacks. This approach was, in a word, bad. In 2 words, very bad.
No! It was so close.
And 3, very extremely bad.
That's on me. I think the moral of the story is, if you don't recognize, if your question is, what's this attack pattern? Then you don't go into it
It's the ideal strat for her cryo phase, but as soon as you make it to her pyro phase, level 2 or even just pyro infused shots are not the vibe. I didn't come up with a better strategy for the second phase for a while though. After one full stream of just failing the Signora fight, trying odd strats like Zhongcho the arena hazard shielder, and eventually abandoning the fight for nearly 2 months, Chat and I returned with a vengeance. Instead of trying to do charged attacks for bigger numbers on Signora, Chat and I determined that it would be better to use normal attacks with Song of Stillness instead. With the addition of a cheeky little animation cancel, I was able to get notably more damage than if I stuck to the OG charge shot strat. By studying the Ambermain's material sent by Panda, we were also able to determine that I'd need to go around the arena and prioritize chipping down the health of the coolers so I could one-shot them in time of need.
Are you kidding me? Girlfriend! Who said you could follow me? No copying.
This time it wasn't a war of attrition. It was a battle of patience.
I don't appreciate the lack of crits right now, Lyney. We really need you to crit out here. We can just dodge here. I mean, we can... It's fine.
It was imperative that I go into the second phase with at least one stack so that Lyney could get the attack boost from Song of Stillness. His personal damage isn't bad, but any extra damage we could get was vital, since the longer we took to kill her, the more dodging I'd have to do, and the more charred the arena would become, making dodging even harder.
Bro! Everything is burnt!
Not only did I have to learn how to dodge into her, but I had to exercise insane arena awareness to make sure I didn't roll into a charred patch.
Where did this guy come from? I could have sworn I broke that one. Like... Guys? Chat? Chat? Let's go! Let's go! Wait! 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 What the heck? No! 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 I literally knew it! I like said it. I was like, oh no, wouldn't it be funny if I actually... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And with that, Signora fell. We chased the ashes of the last boss in Inazuma back to the urn where they belong. Never mind the fact that she's one of the easiest bosses in the game to fight in general, this victory was by far the sweetest. I delayed fighting her for so long after my original defeat, and it felt so good to be done with her. The challenge was officially halfway complete. A great relief, but also a great dread. Things were only going to be uphill from here, and even though I'd learned a lot and greatly improved my overall gameplay, I still had a long ways to go and even harder bosses to fight. But it was a battle well fought in the war I refused to lose. Sumeru was on the horizon, and I was ready.
One day I will have his bow. If he arrives before Farina reruns again and his bow is up, then it will not be that day either. 5. Oh my gosh, the Lyney and the Farina now? The audacity.